Everybody, welcome to the Purtee show. Took a little bit of a hiatus, had to move. That's always fun stuff. And I know this is supposed to be the grand re-envisioning of the show, and you're probably asking yourself, this fucker is sitting in front of a webcam, why do I care? Well, two reasons. One, Tease Me, a t-shirt company, is sponsoring this week's show. You'll see an ad from them later on. Also, Peter Weller is my fucking guest. How about that? Is that enough for you? I mean, if I have to tell you who he is, well, for those uninitiated, I will let you know. RoboCop, Buckaroo Banzai. Currently, he's on Sons of Anarchy as Baraski, a retired cop who was forced to retire due to naughty things that were going on. But yeah, so there's that. That's happening. I think that's great. So let's get to the interview, and then maybe we'll take a break in between, discuss a few things, and be on our way. So here I am with Peter Weller. Peter, I want to thank you so much for being back on the program, and now, Season 6, Sons of Anarchy, it's a big deal. You're behind the camera and in front of the camera, and I know that's not new to you, but how is it with this group of people?
Well, it's actually a little more fun. I mean, usually it's challenging, and there's a wonderful, I'm going to sneeze. Achoo! There's big allergies here in LA.
Good, tight.
Usually, as a very famous guy directs himself said, he shall remain nameless, directing yourself is easy because there's just one less asshole to talk to. So, I said that with a lot of levity, but at the same time, it becomes easy to direct yourself, or not, I don't want to say easy, but, if you're doing a scene with me and you, all I have to talk to is you, and essentially know what I'm going to do. And you really got to let the other actor really have his way. But this one, the guy that I'm playing is so volatile and interesting, and he's also compassionate and kind of sexy, that I'm having more fun than usual. I got to say, I'm having more fun than usual. Because usually I'm directing myself at some sort of... well, I can't say that. I mean, when I direct myself in Longmire, that character, Lucian, is really a thrill too, in another way, a comedic sense.
Right.
But this is more volatile and fun. It's really fun.
Well, I know most people have only seen the first episode. And from what I can gather, I mean, when it comes down to, in this world, this whole Sons of Anarchy world, that no one's innocent. And
No.
your character seems to be more steeped in reality than anybody else.
Yeah, this show, the second one coming up, you're gonna the dynamic of the horror that appeared in the first one, in the premiere, is going to evolve, and then in the third one, I believe it was number 3. Let me just check. I don't want to give everything away, but I do want to give you that's not it. Hang on a second. I want to give you a heads up. If I can just see, I believe it's the third one, Charlie Baraski, the second one involves the plot and the horror and its effect on, I know I lost you for a second. Let me just see here what I'm doing. Yeah, it is number 3, 5, 3, 5, and 7. 8 and 9. 3, 5, 7, 8, 9. So that's what I'll be acting. But Charlie is actually, Charlie's like the fulcrum between two particular powers, and And the pressure cooker that's going on with the Suns. Charlie's like a voice of reality. Broski's like a voice of reality in Miller. So you got it absolutely right. The guy's got no particular big dreams. He's a realist. He just wants to handle what he owns and wants to stay out of harm's way and wants people to stay out of his way. So yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, he's grounded. He's got both feet on the ground for sure. And I hope they play him out in the next year too, because I'm having a ball playing it, guy.
I've seen the first 3 episodes. Thanks.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, thanks to our friends at FX.
Who let you do that? FX?
I got the FX the packet that they sent out, and it has the first 3 episodes. So I saw your scene on the boat. That's all I'm gonna say, and I gotta say that's pretty badass.
Because I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I could go see it in the editing bay, but I don't want to see it yet.
It was pretty badass.
And was it?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. I gotta say that had to have been a thrill to shoot.
Yeah, it was. It was. But also working with Guy Ferlin is a thrill because he's one of the great television directors around, man.
This episode of the Ron Purtee Show is brought to you by Tease Me. From wrestling shirts to all sorts of pop culture, Tease Me is the place to be. So why don't you go ahead, head over to teaseme.org, facebook.com/teasemenow, and @teasemenow on Twitter. You'll be glad you did.
Well, I'm going to go off and do, right after this, I'm going on vacation. I'm under the gun to finish a PhD dissertation that I've got to turn in by the end of October and have filed by December. And so when the second I leave you, I'm going to go edit again for another 8 hours because it's 500 pages long. So that's got me by the ears, man. Like that. And, so I'm thinking about, I'd really like to watch all of Breaking Bad, all this. I got no time.
Right.
And the other egotistical thing, which would say, well, why don't you watch it? If I'm not if I'm not in it or directing it, I don't watch it because, in the words of my friend Christopher Walken, one of my first friends in New York ever was Christopher Walken, one of the most entertaining human beings on planet Earth. And years ago, when I was doing like my 3rd or 4th play with him, I said, I just saw this movie and that you were in, and he said, did I have a good part? And I said, you haven't seen it? He goes, I don't go to movies. I said, what? You don't go to movies? He says, no, because if they're good, I'm jealous, and if they're bad, I'm sorry I went. And I thought, what a great philosophy, man. So if I'm not working in it, I don't watch it. But I am going to do, right after this dissertation, go off to do 2 episodes for Orsi Kurtzman, the guys who wrote, along with Lindelof, Star Trek, and the great Peter Lenkoff, who's a great producer, writer, also from 24. And they do Hawaii 5-0, and I go to Hawaii and I do 2 episodes back to back. Then I go to a little vacation, but then I go to do Guillermo del Toro's new series for FX, The Strain. You know anything about this, Ron?
I haven't read the book, but I'm familiar with it. It's about like the vampire gene is like an infection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like an intellectual vampirism, or a mind. I don't know. It's very sophisticated stuff. It starts on a plane, just like, it started on a boat with Dracula,
right.
Or it started like on a boat with the bubonic plague in 1347. If you want to ask me anything about the Black Death, you can ask me about that. But I think that Guillermo did his research on the Black Death. And I've never met Guillermo, but he handpicked these directors, and he asked me to do 2. You don't do 2 like, on Sun, I do 3, but you'll do 1 and you'll be down for a week and edit, right? And then you'll be prepping, and then you'll be back up for another one. Same thing with Hawaii 5-0. With Guillermo's show, you prep 2 and you shoot 2 like a movie. So you get to even the directors get to even be more in control. I don't want to say more in control, but more inventive of the serialized notion of it, because instead of doing an episode and then taking a break and doing another episode, they're doing 2 episodes as 1, 2 hours, right? So it's a month prep, or 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks prep, and then 3 weeks of shooting. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Now that I know it's going to be a series, I'm really looking forward to it. I never had a chance to read the book yet. I knew it was coming. I just didn't know that FX was picking it up.
Yeah, I think a lot of people wanted to pick it up. I'm told, and I don't know if this is apocryphal or true, that Guillermo pitched it and no one was interested. And then him and his buddy wrote the book, or the series of books, and as in the format of literature, all the television got interested in the thing, right? Because then they could see what it was, and then everybody went after him to make it. So I think that's the story. Maybe I've got it wrong, but
it sounds about right to me. I mean, and I think that the best channels on TV right now would be HBO, AMC, and FX.
I agree with you, man. I agree with you.
They put out some of the best stuff, and it makes me want to watch every week.
Well, I hope you watch Longmire, because I think Longmire is one of the great shows on television. It's very internal and rustic and touching show without trying to be sentimental.
Having kids, I had to cut some amazing moments, but such is life when it comes to something like this. But big news about The Strain. He's going to be directing a couple episodes and the backstory there, and so be sure to watch Longmire and all that stuff. And be sure to visit teaseme.org for all of your pop culture, wrestling, and awesome t-shirt needs. Just do it, I guess. That's what I'm trying to say. So, next week on the program, Terry Moore from Strangers in Paradise and Rachel Rising. We get a little in-depth with the whole Sleepy Hollow thing. And hopefully we're back to normal and I'm not just some asshole sitting in front of a webcam. So, see you soon.